Hey Short Scale, you're here with Degenerate and I's wiki entry for how to do inlays in a neck. I've got my Dremel router here, and I've got the depth set to where it's going to be deep enough to set the center of the block inlay into the fretboard. I went ahead and mounted this baseboard molding to the headstock so that the level from here to the top of the fret is exactly the same, so that when I'm moving the router's base around, it'll stay even and flush and give me a nice even depth across the fretboard. I went ahead and routed the first one a little too deep in the center, but it won't matter because wood filler is going to take care of that. But this is a very rough routing that I did, and then the inlay will just drop in like so and sit flush in the center to where the edges just barely poke out, and I'll be able to take care of that with my Dremel also and a sanding drum. But right now we've got this is in here nice and snug, it's not going anywhere. Time for wood filler. Wood filler will be applied in the hole really good, and then I'll squish it out like peanut butter. Okay, so basically I mixed up the epoxy, the walnut stain, and I'm going to apply it to the back of the inlay and a little bit in the pocket here, like so. Kind of tricky doing it holding a camera, but you'll get the point. I'm going to kind of spread it in here, and then I'm going to push the inlay in and squish it out, which we'll do that. Okay, so I've filled the hole with the plastic wood walnut colored putty filler, and now I'm going to apply the #1 inlay into the hole, and then I'm just going to squish it in there real good and let the crap go everywhere. And then don't wipe any of this excess off, just kind of let it sit there and squish because it'll be easier to sand off later. Let all that crap dry, and we'll be ready for the next step in, I don't know, an hour or so. Okay, so it's been an hour, and I was able to knock off the excess stuff on my finger and get it smooth. Now I'm going to use this Dremel bit. It's like a sanding drum, and I'm going to go up through here and grind it to where it's flush, and then same thing on this side until it's flush, and then I'll use an actual piece of like 200 grit sandpaper and sand it across the top until it's all flush with the fretboard, and we'll see the results after I do all that. So now it's time to get to work. Okay, so now I'm finished using the drum tool on the Dremel, and I smoothed down these edges here and these edges to make it more radius with the fretboard. Next I'm going to use the 200 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to sand it across until the whole thing is flush and smooth and there's no putty left on the fretboard anywhere except for maybe around the edges where there's a little bit of gap, and then we'll stain that to match and you won't be able to tell. Okay, so now that I've sanded most of it flush with 200, I'm going to begin to kind of polish the pearl out with 600 now, and then I'll probably move up to 1000, and then I'll stain whatever putty you can see around the edges the same color as the rosewood and kind of camouflage it in, and then you won't be able to tell. So now it's 600 sanding time. Okay, so I sanded it with 600 and 800 and 1000, and now I'm going to wipe it off with some alcohol, just kind of clean off any grease and crap that might be there. And it's not my neck, so who cares, right? Anyway, this is what it kind of looks like. You can kind of see the putty on the edges where I kind of didn't get it even the first time. But now I'm going to stain it, and you won't be able to see it because I'm going to camouflage it. The pen I'm going to be using to camouflage the putty with is a dark walnut Minwax wood stain. And I'm just going to kind of go around the edges and just be as messy as I can. Let it soak in real good. Probably do this a few times, and then I'll go back and use alcohol and wipe it off the pearl, because the pearl doesn't stain. Because we know if pearl stained, then all my block inlays would be red from the blood from where I play all those metal chords and I bleed. Okay, so now we put the stain in here, and as you can tell, you cannot see it. If you look really, really hard, you can see it, but it looks as good as some of these Ibanez jobs I've seen. And the pearl's all sparkly and changes colors and stuff. It's hypnotizing me. It's telling me to play rock. The devil. So that's how you do block inlays. Can you do block inlays? I do block inlays.